fast, we don't look at the dash. Live a life fast, never less. Too fast, we don't look at the dash. Live a life fast, too fast, never fall. God.
As the conflict between rival gangs reached its peak, YN and Jungkook found themselves facing their worst fears. With lurking around every corner, they clung to each other with a desperation born of love and survival. One evening, as they sat together in the safety of Jungkook's apartment, YN couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled over her like a dark cloud. "Jungkook, what if we don't make it out of this alive?" she whispered, her voice trembling with fear. Jungkook pulled her into his arms, holding her close as if trying to shield her from the outside world.
"We will make it through this, YN. I promise you."
But even as he spoke the words, YN couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the air. In a world where was always just a heartbeat away, she knew that their love would be tested like never before. As the conflict between rival gangs reached its climax, YN and Jungkook found themselves facing impossible choices. With closing in from all sides, they were forced to confront their deepest fears and darkest secrets. One night, as they lay together in the darkness, YN couldn't shake the feeling of foreboding that settled over her like a shroud. "Jungkook, there's something I need to tell you," she whispered, her voice barely above a whisper. Jungkook turned to her, his eyes searching hers.
"What is it, YN? You can tell me anything."
YN took a deep breath, steeling herself for his reaction. "I'm pregnant, Jungkook. We're going to have a baby." Jungkook's eyes widened in shock as he took in her words. For a moment, there was silence between them, as they grappled with the enormity of what this meant for their future. But then, a smile spread across Jungkook's face, lighting up the darkness like a beacon of hope.
"We'll figure this out, YN. Together."
And in that moment, as they held each other close, YN knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, as a family. As YN's pregnancy progressed, she and Jungkook found themselves growing closer than ever before. Despite the dangers that still lurked outside their door, they clung to each other with a fierceness born of love and determination. One evening, as they sat together in the nursery they had prepared for their unborn child, YN couldn't shake the feeling of contentment that settled over her like a warm blanket. "Jungkook, do you ever think about what our lives would have been like if we had never met?" she asked, her voice filled with curiosity. Jungkook wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close as he pressed to her forehead.
"I try not to dwell on the past, YN. All that matters is that we're together now."
And as they sat together in the quiet stillness of the nursery, surrounded by the promise of new beginnings, YN knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together. As YN's due date drew nearer, she and Jungkook found themselves facing the unknown with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Despite their best efforts to prepare for the arrival of their baby, they couldn't shake the feeling of uncertainty that lingered in the air. One night, YN felt a sudden pang of fear shoot through her like a bolt of lightning. "Jungkook, what if we're not ready to be parents?" she whispered, her voice filled with doubt. Jungkook pulled her into his arms, holding her close as he pressed to her forehead.
"We'll figure it out together, YN. That's what families do."
And as they together in the darkness, surrounded by the promise of new beginnings, YN knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as a family. As YN went into labor, she and Jungkook found themselves facing the greatest challenge of their lives. Despite the pain and uncertainty that accompanied childbirth, they clung to each other with a fierce determination born of love and devotion. Hours passed like an eternity as YN labored to bring their baby into the world. And then, finally, the moment they had been waiting for arrived. As YN held their newborn daughter in her arms for the first time, tears filled her eyes as she looked up at Jungkook, her heart overflowing with love.
She's beautiful.
Jungkook whispered, his voice filled with awe. And as they gazed down at their daughter together, surrounded by the warmth and love of their little family, YN knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, hand in hand, bound by the unbreakable bonds of love.